Alright, what's going on, guys? It's GCP here, and oh my goodness. So last night, I played some multiplayer here in Modern Warfare, and really the first couple of games that I got into. Now, I didn't get into any other matches. Like, you know how when you're starting off a match, you feel like it's going to be average, it's not going to be thick with the skill-based matchmaking, but for some reason, knowing Modern Warfare, I should have known this, I got into the first couple of matches and the skill-based matchmaking, the players that I got into. And by the way, this gameplay that you're watching right now is not one of those. I mean, I'm obviously not going to record that gameplay because it would just give me anxiety and I would just get mad just watching it. But this was actually one of the better games that I got into playing with a couple of my buddies. But those matches that I got into last night were very frustrating because the lobbies were super sweaty. And even on Shoot House, people were camping like crazy. One of the things that I've noticed is that a lot of the sweaty players, people who have high KDs, not all, but the majority of them will camp. The majority of them will stay mounted up, stay locking down an area, and that might be smart, of course, to win the game. I'll give you that, but at the same time, it's very annoying when people are not really moving around and they're able to lock down that area, and also at the same time, you can't move. You, as somebody who wants to rush, cannot move because those players have that area locked down and they're just not budging. And that's what I've noticed. A lot of the players out there who are quote unquote sweaty, who are locking down an area, who don't want to move, have the high KDs. That's what I've noticed, and it's very annoying. And that's the type of lobbies that I got into the first couple of matches that I got into, and I ended up going negative several times. And I kept making the mistake, I guess, of moving, you know, because I didn't want to be that type of player who just sits in a corner or just sits mounting and waiting for the other team to come by, because guess what? They didn't come by. You know what I mean? They didn't want to move. That's what was so frustrating about the whole thing. And at that point, we were already down by over 10 points or over 10 kills. And the only way that we could come back, my team, and by the way, I was playing solo, the only way that we could come back is if we moved and we pushed the enemy team so that way we could get the kills. But of course, if you can't do that, you know, if you're just sitting back and playing the same strategy that they are, and they're just sitting in their spawn, nothing's gonna happen. That's why the game plays so slow as it does. This game, Infinity Ward, the way that they have designed it, has made this play slow. Now, I had this conversation yesterday with my video on whether or not this is, or for the next Call of Duty game, whether it's gonna be slow or fast paced. And, you know, one of my friends, Iris, said that it technically is a fast-paced game, but the way that this game was designed, you know, with the layers, the way the maps were, the mounting and all that stuff, is what causes it to play slow. Of course, I do have to agree with him, because as you guys see, when I am rushing, it does play pretty fast. You know, I'm able to make some moves that make it play fast, but the majority of people want to play this game slow because that's where you have that advantage. You are more advantaged to play the game a lot slower than you are to play fast. I mean, obviously, if you want to play fast, you're going to put yourself out there, you know, unless you got dead silence on like I do right now, which will extend with each kill that you get. But let's say, for example, if somebody's just sitting there, aiming down their sights, waiting for you, sound horning you, then, of course, you're going to lose maybe 9 times out of 10 because you're not going to expect people there, and they're already going to be ready for you. So that's one of the things that is one of the double-edged swords with this game. I mean, that's just one of the things that is a part of this game, and that's something that we have to accept if we want to play this game, right? And of course, we always have a choice whether or not we want to play this game or not, and that's why I occasionally go over to Black Ops 4 if I get tired of this game. But again, that's the type of lobbies that I got into my first couple of matches. But once I started going negative, and once we started losing, guess what? Magically, I'm using my air quote fingers here, magically, the next couple of matches that I got into, the people there were easier. The people actually moved, and I was able to outplay them in terms of gun skill. People were magically not aiming down sights. People were actually moving around, and I was able to actually dominate. I was able to go positive. Wow, big surprise there, right? That's the skill-based matchmaking. That's the thick skill-based matchmaking that we have in this game that will punish you for doing well in a game. I mean, the whole concept of that is just mind-boggling to me. I mean, I've spoken on this so many times before. I probably sound like a broken record, and I'm sure a lot of people out there have spoken on this many times over, and you guys are probably at this point sick and tired of me saying it, but I know a lot of you guys experience it as well, and you guys have the same complaints as me. But I've never heard of a video game punishing you for doing well. Like, that is just, the whole concept of that is ridiculous, and it should not happen. You know, if you're doing well, shouldn't you be rewarded for doing well? How can you have a game that punishes you for playing well? Like that, like, really think about that. If you're doing well in the game and you want to keep doing well, then why would the game say, oh, we're gonna make it harder for you, especially because you're doing so well and you're smacking lobbies? That's why the whole pub stomping thing is gone. I think a lot of people in my comment section have said that maybe it's because of the pub stompers is why, you know, we've made it so hard and why skill-based matchmaking is what it is today. That's why it's so thick in this game, because maybe the developers or Activision, for that matter, didn't want us to pub stomp. They didn't want us to dominate, the good players to dominate in the game. They wanted to make it quote unquote equal, make it a more fair experience. But to me, a more fair experience, a more balanced experience in a Call of Duty game is prioritizing connection and having random lobbies instead of taking ages just to find a match. And by the way, I was sitting there in the lobby, you know, maybe 2-3 minutes trying to find a match because they want to pair me up with the most similar skill, gun accuracy type of players. Even when I had my geo filter on my router here, which will prioritize my ping so that way I get the best possible ping and the closest server to me, it was still taking forever, and it shouldn't do that. Apparently because there are millions of players playing this game, right? So I don't know, man. It's just something that it's just absolutely crazy, and I know you guys have experienced it as well. But anyways, let me know your guys' thoughts down below. If you guys enjoyed the video, make sure you guys hit that like button. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button, and also don't forget to hit the bell to be notified whenever I upload. And with that being said, this is GCP signing off.